Hello and welcome to Between the Books. My name is Shannon.
And I'm Isadora.
And today we are going to be talking about some of our favorite books across multiple genres, so you can get a better idea of the kinds of books that we like, and hopefully you'll read some of our favorites.
Yeah, and then you can get to know us on like a different level, I feel like, because we talk about, books that sometimes we don't like, or sometimes we like the books that we read. But we talk about like the currently reads, but we don't talk that much about. And we did the mid-year freak out tag, which was stuff for this year.
Yeah.
So we haven't really discussed our favorites from from life.
We get to talk about books we actually like in this one.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. First, we're going to start with favorite young adult book. So Isadora, what is one of your favorite young adult books?
Okay, so we talked about this before we started recording. We both chose two different books. So one from what was a favorite of ours back then, and then maybe one that we've read recently. That's also YA that we really like. So for me, my favorite YA book when I was younger was Twilight.
I knew you were going to say Twilight.
I mean, honestly, I think, I was a reader before, but the moment I read Twilight, my life changed. I became such a huge reader after that literally I was obsessed. I know that it's not the best. They're not the best books. But honestly, I've even read the most recent ones like Midnight Sun and stuff. It's not great, but it's still entertaining. I can see why.
Isadora, what is Twilight about if you were in a coma and you just woke up, and we want to know what Twilight is about?
So Twilight is about Bella, and she just moved to Forks to live with her father because her mom's kind of, moving. And she, meets this very interesting guy named Edward, and he's very mysterious, and he seems a little obsessed with her. And eventually she finds out that he's a vampire. And honestly, that's kind of what this is about, Shannon. It's a romance. At the end of the day, it's about Bella, Team Edward. Edward and Bella. And, there's a series. I think my favorite one of the series is actually Breaking Dawn. Yeah. I think that's such a fun one. But yeah, no, I was my whole life, genuinely for years and years. That was my whole personality. I had posters. I went to all the movies, to see all the movies in theater. And I was in love.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
I love...
You haven't read it.
Okay, so I haven't read Twilight.
Shannon, missing out. Maybe you should.
Maybe I will.
So what is your, favorite YA from back then?
Okay, so my favorite YA when I was a child was Leviathan by Scott Westerfield.
I remember.
You remember? Did you ever read this book?
Oh, I read it because you convinced us to read it for book club.
It was really?
It was a book club book in high school, yeah. You guys, we used to have a book club in high school. Surprise, a library book club. And
oh my god,
we read that.
I'm so excited. I actually completely forgot.
We did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this book is a retelling. A retelling sounds weird. Alternate history of the First World War, with steampunk in it. So it's about these two characters on opposite sides of the war who meet each other on a airship that is made out of a whale. And one of them is pretending to be a boy on the airship, and the other one is the prince of one of the nations. And they don't know each other's identity, and it's just about them navigating being in the war.
Yeah.
But I thought it was so fun when I read it. I am a massive fan of steampunk, and this remains... I don't think I've read a lot of steampunk fantasy.
That's the only one I have read.
I really want steampunk fantasy to come back.
Yeah.
Please, I want to read more steampunk books. And this was a favorite of mine when I was younger.
Was that a trilogy?
It was a trilogy, yes. I liked all the books in this trilogy.
Yeah, I remember liking the first one, but not liking enough to continue. But I do remember liking it.
I think it's a really specific vibe. I think you really have to love the setting and the aesthetic. Yeah, I had never read anything like it. It was one of the books, if Twilight got you into reading, this book got me into like what fantasy could be. It's like I'd never seen anything like this before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this world is so interesting to me. And fantasy could be like that. I didn't think about that before.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I like that. Coming in with an original answer, not Twilight. Okay. Okay, so my most recent YA that I've, not the most recent, but like a YA book that I've read as an adult that I really liked was Six of Crows.
That's, yeah, wait, I forgot. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I continue to read YA. I still really enjoy it. I don't read it as much as I used to, but that one, I remember you trying to convince me for a long time, and then we finally read it for our book club, because we read, or not for our book club, but we read Shadow and Bone, the trilogy in our book club, and then the show was coming out, so then I wanted to read that. And it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It truly does live up to all the hype that it gets. It's one of the few books where I'm like, it deserves all the hype that it gets.
Yeah, and especially in that world, because, the Shadow and Bone series is not very good, and then the King of Scars series is not very good. But, like, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, those were both pretty strong books, and I can't wait to read them again. I think the characters and everything. Okay, I guess I should talk about it. So Six of Crows is the series after the Shadow and Bone, and it's in this world where there are people with powers like Grishas and stuff like that. In this one, in particular, it follows about 6 characters. They are all criminals in their own way, and they get together to go on a heist. It's complicated.
Yes.
It is complicated, but it's so interesting. I've seen like heist movies, and I'm sure I've read like other books that kind of had a heist in it, but that one was so intricate, and it was so well done, and the characters were so good. Like, I really recommend it. I thought it was so good. Anyways, and also the show, I think they had the characters in the show.
Yes.
Because in the Shadow and Bone TV show, they mixed those 2 series together, and that was really cool. It wasn't the same story as in the Six of Crows books, but it did have the characters in there, and then a different adventure, and it was so cool. It was so good.
I thought the plot that they came up with in not to make this about the TV show, but at least for the first season, with them trying to kidnap Alina, I thought that was such a cute way to integrate them into the show.
Oh, the way they interact and everything. I love it. I have to watch that, actually. But anyway, Shannon, what was your most, I guess, a recent YA that you've liked?
Okay, so a recent YA that I ended up loving was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I did not expect that I was ever going to like this book. I honestly started reading this book because I didn't think I was going to like it. And it was because I thought that it was... I'll explain the plot of it. So it's about a girl named Jude who is a human, but she ends up getting raised in the world of fairy. And she ends up being raised amongst other fairy nobles. And she is a human, so she's already like disadvantaged in this world. And it's mostly about her trying to gain power in this world over like her enemies, basically. And I thought this was mostly gonna be a romance, which is what it's usually pitched as.
Yeah.
But I swear it's most of it isn't.
It's not, no.
And I think going in thinking it's a romance does this book such a disservice because it's a lot of like political intrigue and the plot twists are crazy. That's what this book should be known for. That the twists that happen in this book are so fun to read. First off, it's refreshing. It's refreshingly fun. Yeah. And I also thought Jude was just such a fun character to read from because she is flawed in such an obvious way that doesn't detract from her character but makes it so much fun. And it's so fun to see her navigate fairy because she's very cunning as well. Yeah. And this was just such a fun book series to read. I loved all 3 books. And I would actually just really recommend The Cruel Prince. Also, the romance in it is good. Yeah. When it happens, it happens. Yeah. And it's good.
Not to make it about the romance, but it is such a well-done enemies to lovers.
Yes.
In the sense that I read the first book and I hated him. I was like, there's no way you can, like, I would hate him, this man, for the rest of my life. And then you get to the second book and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah. As it is today, the fact that I like enemies and lovers so much is probably because of this book.
Yes.
And I think it did such a good job. It low-key feels like every book is enemies to lovers. I don't know if you have that feel. Like, I feel like it's very popular now, but I feel like it got gained a lot of popularity because of this book series. That's my feeling.
Anyways, so Shannon, let's move on to the next category, the next genre. What is a sci-fi book that's one of your favorites?
Okay, so this is a sci-fi book that I read when I was younger, and I was like, is it going to be this sci-fi book when I was going through this list? And the answer is still yes, because I need more people to read it. And it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
By Douglas Adams. This book is so fun. It's so funny. And that's why I picked it, because from like the beginning to like the end of just the amount of like quotable stuff and like memeable stuff that happens in that book that's like retained in like the public conscious for like this long is so fun. Have you read it?
No, I've seen the movie.
No, the movie's bad, Isadora. The movie's not good. As an adaptation of the book, it's not good.
I genuinely don't remember a single thing about the movie.
Okay,
so
great.
like
So I don't need to not like you have strong feelings about the movie. But it's about a guy, normal guy, who finds out that the world is about to explode because the Earth was in the middle of a hyperspace byway, and if humans wanted to save the Earth, they could have gone through the proper legal documentation, but they just didn't go through it, so now the Earth is going to get vaporized. And right before it gets vaporized, the guy finds out that his best friend is an alien, and they flee into outer space. And it's just about this guy getting adjusted to outer space, and it's so fun, guys. It's so funny. And I just need more people to read it because it truly is just so funny. I think like the amount of quotable stuff that you know from this book without even having read it, I think just proves that it has that staying power in my head.
I remember you telling me about this in like high school. I remember you talking about it, and it's just been on my TBR since then, but I don't know when I would ever pick it up. But it sounds fun.
I actually think I'm due for a reread of it because I haven't read it recently, probably like in the last 5 years I haven't read it, and I want to reread it. I think there's actually 5 books in the series, and I only read I think the first 3. I don't remember the rest of the series. I don't really remember if it's good, but I remember rereading the first one so many times. So I think maybe I'll pick it up and maybe I'll try finishing the series and I see how it goes. What's one of your favorite sci-fi books, Isadora?
So I honestly, who's surprised? One of my favorite sci-fi books is The Hunger Games.
I think that's good. I think that's great.
It is genuinely not even like one of my favorite sci-fi. It's literally on my top favorite books of all time.
Yes.
The series, I would say probably Catching Fire is my favorite, but I'm kind of doing like a general the series right now. I just think it's genius. I think it's so well written. It's so good. Like obviously we did the episode about the new book. It's just something that's still talked about. Everyone still loves it, and it's so good. Obviously everyone knows, but I will talk about it. This is about Katniss Everdeen. She lives in Pan Am, which is a futuristic like dystopian United States, and in this, the country's divided between 12 districts, and there's this game hosted by the Capitol, which is the Hunger Game every year, and they take a boy and a girl from each district, and they have to fight to the death until only one remains, so 24 tributes. You know, the first book is more just them starting that, but then it obviously becomes a kind of revolution and trying to change the country, and it's just so good. Like it's so good, and this is another one of those like Twilight was one of them. This was one of them, like a staple in my life that like for a period of time it was all I would think about. I would like generally I followed like every single Instagram, like, you know, the fan accounts. I had a fan account. Like it was so, and this, I think that was around the time where I got really into like Instagram and stuff. I think it was around that time when we started using Instagram. So literally, it was all I would follow and all I would consume. It was Hunger Games, and it's so good, and I love it, and I can't wait for the movie to come out.
I do, now that I'm also thinking about it, because I'm also a fan of the Hunger Games. I was also a massive fan of the Hunger Games. You should go listen to our Hunger Games episode if you want to know more about our experience with the Hunger Games. But also, I'm like, it's probably a book series that brought us closer together. Yeah. Because we were both massive fans of it. So I just think that's so sweet.
I know, yeah.
Okay, so our next category is favorite fantasy. And I don't know about you, Isadora, this was the hardest one for me.
It was really hard, but then I kind of just decided to go with my classic answer. So I'm not going for anything crazy right now, Shannon. I have two, but one of them is an honorable obvious mention.
Yes.
So my honorable obvious mention that I don't want to really go into too much, but it's Harry Potter. Because, duh. Like, Harry Potter, I think it's amazing. It's, like, incredibly written. Like, obviously, I'm not praising J.K. Rowling or anything right now, but it is a really good series. It's really well done, and I love reading it. I think it's one of my favorite things to read ever. But the other one that I want to talk about is The Shadowhunter Chronicles by Cassandra Clare. And I am cheating. I'm not gonna say a single book. I'm kind of saying
you're putting all 13 plus books on there.
Yes, I would say the thing is, I think my favorite one is still The Mortal Instruments, but I haven't read that in so long. And it was the first series out of all the bunch that she wrote. And I have heard like that it does read quite young and it's just like not the best. Obviously she gets better with time. So I can't just say that that's my favorite, but I think character-wise, I love them. But there's just so much. I love that world so much. I think it's so good. And I'm so glad there's so many books because I haven't even read. I'm not even caught up because I don't want it to end. And it's about, okay, so I guess I'll talk about the Mortal Instruments, or I guess just the world a little bit. So in this world, it's an urban fantasy. So there's a hidden world where there's shadow hunters, they are descendants from angels, and they have angel blood, and they hunt demons. And there are just like really old families. It's just like a really old lineage, and they have the separate families and everything. So the first book follows Clary, and she is just a normal human girl, and then she kind of ends up in this world. Her mom gets taken away, and then she runs into shadow hunters around her age, and they're helping her find it. And there's like, she just finds out all about herself and her history and this world, and it's so good. I love it so much. Like I genuinely love it so much. Anyways, Shannon, what is one of your favorite fantasies?
Okay, so as I said, this is the hardest one for me because I mainly read fantasy books. Yes. I have so many favorite fantasy books. So I just picked a book that I read recently in the past couple of years. Yeah. That I've really enjoyed. You read this book too, but I'm like, this book has so much staying power in my brain. Interesting. It's The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, by Shannon Chakraborty.
So interesting. Okay,
yeah,
tell me more.
Because I don't think you had the same attachment to it.
No,
as
I didn't really like it. I'm pretty sure I donated my book.
What?
Yeah.
I've been actually looking for a copy of it, so I don't know why you didn't give it to me.
What? Well, you weren't here. Maybe I don't. Maybe I haven't donated yet. I just know it's like at my parents' house somewhere, maybe.
I picked this because I think this is what fantasy should be.
Interesting.
Which is that it was fun. It was number one to me, very fun. So it is about it's set in historical Middle East, and it's about a retired pirate captain who has a daughter, but she ends up getting roped in for like one last job so that she can get a lot of money to help raise her daughter. And she has to get the whole pirate crew back together, and they go on like an adventure. And there's magical elements of this. And the more I think about this book, the more I just remember having so much fun with it. I remember the writing being so strong that it was one of my favorite written fantasies because the voice was so strong for Amina. And I thought the world was very interesting. And bottom line, just the characters were just so fun in it, and the world was so fun that I'm like, this is just what fantasy should be, which is just an alternate world where everyone is having fun, and primarily I picked it because it's like an adventure.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of fantasy books I read recently aren't about the adventure. Like, you know, like a Lord of the Rings style adventure that like the characters go on, like a journey. Yeah. And it's like the journey's kind of lame. Like it's usually secondary to like, you know, the characterization. But the journey itself was so fun in this book, in my opinion. And the sequel, so this is the first book in a series. The sequel is coming out next year. And it's my most anticipated book coming out. And I'm so worried about it because I don't want it to be bad. I want it to be good.
That's so interesting because I didn't dislike it when I was reading it, but I think it was pretty much like a 3.5 mid for me.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
Like, I totally see that.
But it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I think it's just like, this is specifically what I look for in fantasy. And that's why I picked it for this category.
Okay, so next one. Shannon, what is a nonfiction book that's one of your favorites?
So I do read some nonfiction. My secret is that my actual favorite nonfiction book I've ever read is my cosmology textbook that I read for my graduate level astronomy course. But I'm not gonna recommend you guys that one. Instead, I'm gonna pick a really basic pick. It's I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Oh, okay.
By Jeanette McCurdy.
Interesting,
Yeah. So it's Jeanette McCurdy's memoir. Jeanette McCurdy played Sam on iCarly, and it talks about a lot of the abuse that she went through at the hands of her mother as she was growing up as a child star, and navigating that world at such like a young age, and also the having to navigate being famous, and also like the pressure that her mom and her family were putting on her because she was the primary like person who was bringing in money to her family. And it's a really strong story told from her perspective. I listened to the audiobook where she is narrating it, and I remember listening to it at work because I just couldn't stop listening to it, as every time I was like, no way it can get worse. Like, no way it can get worse.
Oh,
and it does. And she has such like a high emotional intelligence for what she went through now. I imagine when she went through it, she didn't have this emotional intelligence, but when she's like reflecting on it, she's like, oh, I think this is why I acted like this, and so on. And I just think it's a very strong story overall. And
because and it is such a depressing story, but the way that she writes it is like got this comedy.
Yes, it's also funny.
Yeah, it's really good. Did you see that? I think they're making a movie.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy.
That's crazy.
But I think they are. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And she's also, did you see that she's gonna publish a novel?
I did. Yeah. I didn't look too much into it. I just saw that she was. So I'm also interested in that as well. She's a very strong writer.
Yeah. Which is really cool for her. I'm very happy for her.
What is a nonfiction book that you love?
So nonfiction. So I've read, I'm not like an avid nonfiction reader, but I read them once in a while. And this one in particular, I found out about it because in my film class, and it's called Save the Cat. Do you know this one?
I feel like I've heard you talk about it.
Save the Cat. Yeah, so the full title is Save the Cat, the last book on screenwriting you'll ever need. And it's basic. It explains so well how to write a script, but that doesn't also, like, that fits for that, but it also could fit for like any story, like a novel or anything like that. But they have their own way of splitting. It's almost like the hero's journey.
Yes.
So it's similar to that, but it's a different way. They have their own beat sheet, and they have examples and everything, and it's just so genius. And so I was reading it recently because I'm writing a little story. Ooh. So I was using that to kind of outline my stuff, and it's just genius. It's so cool. It's so interesting. It's funny. I love it. Save the Cat. I don't know. There's not much to tell because it is a nonfiction, but if you're ever like wanting to, outline a story, write a story, a script, anything, I really recommend. I know there is a Save the Cat Writes a Novel, which is it's like a side, and it was written by an author. So it's not written by the same guy, but I think she's following the same formulas and everything. And I really want to get that one too, because I'm sure it's probably a little different, but I love it. It's so good. I have it like all highlighted. I pick it out all the time.
That's so fun.
100% recommend it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's me with my cosmology textbook. I'm not gonna lie. I have it all highlighted. All right, Isadora. What is one of your favorite literary books?
Okay. So Shannon, this one is tricky because I was looking it up just to make sure. And it can be literary, but it can be a magical realism too. But it really depends on how you read it and it's so good though. It's honestly one of my favorite books of all time. I think it's very high up there. I say usually nowadays that it is my current favorite. And it's called The Seas.
I remember this. Yes. Okay.
The Seas by Samantha Hunt.
More people should learn about this.
Oh my gosh, The Seas is so good. So the way I found out about The Seas is that I literally pulled out, we were at like Barnes & Noble once, and I pulled it out of a shelf, and I was like, that cover's so pretty. Because it's literally just a mermaid, and it's literally named The Seas. I didn't even read what it was about. I took a photo of it, and then years later, I think I just added it to my wish list for Christmas, and my brother bought it for me. And literally knew nothing. And it's one of my favorite books. I love finding books randomly like that. It's so special. And I've never heard anyone else read it. And I even gave it to one of my friends. She read it. She loved it too. So I love getting to peep. So I think you guys should read it. But basically, it follows this character. And she lives in this like small coastal town. She's like a young girl. And years ago, her dad walked into the ocean and never came back. But right before he walked into the ocean, he told her that she was a mermaid. And she kind of holds that in her, and she thinks that her dad was returning to the ocean and he was like the mermaid king, and that merman, I guess, king, and that he was waiting for her, and she one day would go and join him as a mermaid. So it kind of follows her. She also has, I don't know how old she is. I don't think they explain. She might be like about 19.
Yeah.
She lives with her mom. And there is like this soldier, there's a veteran who's in this town. He's older than her, and they just have this friendship, but she's in love with him. And she's just thinks about that a lot. And it's also, I feel like he does a lot of like mental illness. Oh, okay. Because you're a lot in her head, and she really is trying to think she's a mermaid. So that's why I'm saying like, literary or magical realism, because it really depends on how you read it. Because you can read it and be like, yeah, she's a mermaid, or you can read it and be like, mental illness type thing. But it's so beautifully written, is so interesting. I love stories that just are simple and by a coastal town. I love the vibes. And it's a short book, and I don't know, there's not much else to say other than I really think everyone should read that book. I think it's so good. I can't wait to reread it.
I want to read it. Ever since you've mentioned it to me a couple of times, I've wanted to read it.
It's good.
So I want, it sounds so cute, and it sounds so I don't know if fun's the right word, but like interesting.
It's just, I remember, what was it? My friend, the way that she described it, she was like, it feels, I don't know if that's what she said in her words, but I remember her saying something about like, it feels like you're floating in the ocean. It's kind of like it's just the vibes are, I don't know how to explain. I think that's why I really like literary sometimes, because it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
I really recommend. Anyway, Shannon, what is a literary book that you really enjoy?
Okay, I also feel like I'm gonna get flack for this because my pick also has magic in it, but I feel like I would be amiss to do this whole segment and this whole episode and not talk about this book, which...
Okay. I'm nervous.
Which is probably still my favorite book of all time, which is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern.
Okay, I see what you mean, yeah.
Yes, because The Night Circus it's hard to explain what it's about, because it's about multiple people, but it's about a circus. It's about a magical circus, and behind the scenes, a tournament of sorts that is being played between two magicians. And the way that the circus is created just to be like the stage of this game that they play with each other. And that's just all that it is about. And it's written so lushly and beautifully. And the characters are so interesting and beautiful to me.
Yeah.
I reread it so many times. And it was another book that I read when I was younger and was like, oh, so this is what like writing can be about. And I feel like a lot of books from the success of Night Circus also tried to like copy its writing style, and I feel like nothing has hit quite so hard as the original. It's such a good book, and just because it's written so wonderfully, and the beauty of it really pulls you into like how like magical it basically is, like how magical the circus is. And I think everyone should read it. What do you think?
I read it. Also, we read it for book club.
Oh yeah, I know you also have different opinions on it, which is also why I love this podcast, because we can all have different opinions about books. But what do you think?
I also remember not loving it.
Yeah, no, makes sense. It makes sense.
I think if I read it, I would want to read it again. I think maybe it just wasn't the right time for me to read it. I don't know. I don't remember loving it. I remember not liking it.
Yeah. It really doesn't, like, the plot is really minimal.
Yeah.
I think
that was just the time in my life. I was not like into.
Yeah, those kinds of books. Those kinds of books. But like, I think to me that's why it's more literary, because it's like the characterization is what drives it, and like who the characters are and how they react to certain things is what drives the plot.
Yeah, that's what I'm like Googling a literary definition. And it's not like something specific. It's not like a genre. It's just a style of writing, you know? Like, it's basically, something that's like, it's writing with high artistic qualities.
I'd call that the Night Circus.
Yeah.
I call that the Night Circus.
Like, it's just the technique, the style, the way that they... You know, and you know when you read something like, so I think that makes sense. I think that's fair. That's the first thing to say.
I'm safe. I'm safe.
You're safe. So Shannon, what's a romance book that is one of your favorites?
Ezra's laughing at me because she knows what I picked.
I know, guys. And you know too.
And you all know too. Guys, it's Paladin's Grace. I'm not going to talk about it for very long, but Paladin's Grace by T. Kingfisher is good. It's about a paladin whose god died 5 years ago at the start of the book, so he has trauma about it, and he can't love again, but then he finds a perfumer, and they fall in love. It's so good, guys. Please listen. Please read it. I'm going to shut up about paladins, because if you listen to any episode, I'm talking about
Shannon
paladins.
mentions it every episode.
What's a romance book you like?
A romance book that I like, that I love. It's also one of my favorite books of all time.
It's Paladins.
No, it's The Song of Achilles.
Oh, yeah, that's a good pick.
It's so good, Shannon. I want to say another book that I'm due to reread, because I've only read it once and I love it so much. I love Greek mythology. I know you like it too. And that story is just so, because, you know, it's not just a romance, but I think their connection is just something so deep. And it's just, by the end of it, you're so like you feel it in your soul almost, their love for each other. And I think that's because, you know, I've read a lot of like fun romances and stuff, but this one, it's heartbreaking. It's beautifully written, and it's just, you know, it follows these two. I guess I'll tell the story. So this is takes place around the same time as the Iliad by Homer. If you don't know. And so before the Odyssey, and follows Achilles and Patroclus, and as they grow up together and they train together and they fall in love. And in the Iliad, it's not clear, it's not said that they were, you know, in a romantic relationship, but there's a lot of signs, and like in ways that you can read into it. They were basically very, very close friends and partners. And you know, there's something really tragic happens and everything, but it just this is like a romantic take on that. Obviously a lot of fiction, a lot of Madeline Miller added a lot of fictional stuff into it, but she also draws a lot from the myth, and it's just so easy to read, and you learn so much, and it's just so, I love them together. I have like a poster of this book on my wall. Yeah. Because it's with like one of the quotes, because it's just the quotes and everything. Yeah. Yeah.
This is, so I've read this book as well, and this, I agree with Isadora 100%. I actually maybe also would have picked this one if you had it. I just remembered I also did read this book, and I really enjoyed it. So, you should all read it too.
You should read it.
We are at our last category.
Yes.
Which is, we're bringing it back. What is a favorite classic of yours?
Okay, so you won't be surprised. One of my favorite classics of all time is Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's so good, and everyone should read it. I love books with random shit on it. And Alice in Wonderland, the queen of random shit, to be honest. Like, you're in there, and something random is happening at every corner. You're in a place full of flowers that are talking to you. There's like one of the scenes where she's in a house and there's just this huge baby and he won't stop crying. There's more things that happen in the actual movie that you see. And I've read it a couple of times. I think it's so endearing. It's so fun. And if you know, you know. Alice falls down a rabbit hole looking for the white rabbit, and she ends up in Wonderland, and lots of things happen to her. I can't wait to read it again. A lot of these books were books that I would read over and over again. Yeah. And you haven't read this yet.
I have not.
You should. You should.
I'm hoping to one day.
So this is Alice in Wonderland and Alice's Adventures Through the Looking Glass. I kind of combine, because they usually go together, but they're technically two different books, but they also usually go together. Yeah. So Shannon, what is your...
My pick is so different from your pick. I feel like maybe I should have gone first, because we're switching genre hard. One of my favorite classics is Kindred by Octavia Butler.
Oh, yeah, you were telling me about this. At the swimming pool. Shanna was telling me about this at the swimming pool. Remember, throwback to Deep End.
Yes.
We were talking about books and that came up.
Yes. So this book I had to read for university. And I thought it was so good. I ended up owning 2 copies of it accidentally because I forgot I still had the book I had from school and I bought another copy of it.
Do you still have those?
Yeah. Would you like a copy of it? Oh, great. I'll give you one.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Free book.
You too can go home with your copy of Kindred. But it is about a Black woman in the, oh Lord, I want to say 70s or 80s, that kind of time period.
Yeah.
She is moving into a home with her new husband, and she gets transported to the antebellum South. And there is a boy who is drowning, and she goes and saves the boy. And it ends up being a white boy. When she goes to save the boy, she ends up having an altercation with the white family, and then she gets teleported back to the modern day. So as this woman is like trying to go about her new life, she keeps randomly, seemingly, getting teleported back to the South, and she keeps re-meeting that boy who keeps being in perilous situations, and she ends up having to keep saving him. And every time she ends up staying longer and longer in the past. Find out over the course of the story how these 2 people are connected, and it's just such an interesting and well-written story about a woman connecting with her past and, you know, the past of like black people and Black women in the South and where she comes from. And I think it just tackles a lot of difficult topics well, especially the way that it's told and the way that she is experiencing the like tragedy and like the terrible thing that happened to her ancestors, basically, like firsthand. And I just think it's a really good, strong piece of Black literature, and people should read it.
I read, oh my gosh, what's it called?
Parable of the Sower.
Parable of the Sower this year. And it was really good, but I think I would enjoy this one more.
Yeah. I would really recommend this one. I also want to read Parable of the Sower. I haven't read that one, but if you are going to read Octavia Butler, I would highly recommend this one.
Well, I think this is going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys came out of it learning a little bit more about us, and also maybe adding some books to your TBR, your to be read pile.
I know you just added a book to your actual physical TBR.
Yes. And so thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or recommendations or anything, you can email us at betweenthebookspod@gmail.com, or you can also comment on our Spotify under the episode. There's like a little comment section. Shannon, do you want to tell us what the next book we're going to read?
So our next book, which is really, really exciting, it's going to be Calabasas by R.F. Kuang, and we're actually going to be seeing her on tour. So stick around for the next episode where we talk about that.
Exciting.
Bye.